Hey, everybody, welcome back to the classic album song ranking. I'm here with Sam St. John, next in our series of classic album song rankings. And today we're doing Billy Joel's 1977 The Stranger, which really brought him into the limelight. This is his fifth album, uh, commercial breakthrough album, big time. I mean, I know he had Piano Man early, and that raised a little bit of a ruckus. But this thing here sold 10 million copies. The Stranger, it was number two in the U.S. for 6 consecutive weeks. You ask what was number one? Well, it was Rumors. Rumors, the only album that kept him out of that number one spot. Two Grammy Awards to his credit for this album. If you don't know Billy Joel, I don't know. I always compare him a little bit to Elton John, a little bit to Paul McCartney. He takes some of the best of those acts. He's got McCartney's melodic sensibilities, and he's got the piano prowess of an Elton John. Kind of a lounge lizard persona. I think he's not a pure rock star. He's got the suit and tie a lot of times he performs with. Uh, I don't know. I like his song structure. It's accessible pop music, very successful. And to me, this is his biggest album. So, what do you think, Sam? Before we get into the individual songs, overall, it's a pretty solid album.
It is a solid album. And I always have a joke with my one of my actually he's my best friend, Chris. We joke about the Billy Joel Elton John thing. My mom was a big fan of Billy Joel. Well, more so of a fan than Elton John. She doesn't really care for Elton John too much. My dad's a huge Elton John fan, and so we always talk about the joke is that Billy Joel is the poor man's Elton John, and kind of just to give her really a hard time more than anything. But considering, I mean, he had 10 or 11 albums, if even that, in his career, and all the number of hits that he put out. I mean, even on this one, 7 out of the 9 are songs that you hear on the radio.
That's right.
The last 2 being the exceptions, but I mean, it's a solid album. Like you said, the piano chops are there. We'll talk about that in specific songs. His voice is really, really good. He does a few different things with it. He can sing kind of baritone. He can sing soulful and kind of R&B. He does his high falsetto kind of singing. Kind of has a growl to his voice sometimes. Like you said, melodic hooks galore on a piano. He does what guitar players do on the piano. And this was a tough one. Like I was telling you off camera, I was making switches just a few minutes ago, trying to finalize this list here. So it should be interesting to see how we match up.
Yeah, and in a way, this is a make or break album for him on Columbia Records, because the previous album, Turnstiles, which is very good, only made it to 122 on the chart, so it did not sell. People went back and bought it afterwards a lot, but at the time, he needed this hit and got it. Gangbusters. I mean, really, like you said, 7, not necessarily hit singles, but radio play singles, and the reputation followed. And the Grammys, and 52nd Street was album of the year, I believe, the next year.
Yeah,
and it may not be as good an album as this, depending on your perspective. And then Glass Houses and Nylon Curtain, and it went on and on. He was very successful into the 80s, into the early MTV days as well. So let's get into the ranking. If you haven't watched it before, we rank all the songs, bottom to top, alternating style. This album happens to have 9 that we're going to rank, and then we'll give the album an overall score at the end. And if you haven't checked out our other videos in the series, please do. There'll be a playlist link in the comments below, so just check that out, and in the description below, I meant to say. And go back and see some of our other classic albums. We've done a bunch. I think this is number 23, maybe 23rd time we've done an album together.
23 or 24, yeah.
Yeah, so check them out. Go over and subscribe to Sam's channel, Sam St. John. You'll get a lot of the same things you get on mine as far as rankings. He does a lot of his own playing and singing. He's a performer and songwriter, so check him out. Subscribe if you haven't already. So, Sam, take it away. What's your number 9?
Number 9, I'm just going to come out of the gate swinging here. This is, again, one of those big hits that you hear on the radio all the time. For me, number 9 is Only the Good Die Young. I know a lot of people love it. It's a crowd pleaser. And to be fair, it's funny, with Billy Joel, back in the news with his new song that he just put out, about a month ago or so. The fact that he's still playing just the same songs from, there's 8 or 9 albums and still, sells out Madison Square Garden every month is a testament to his hits. And this is no exception. I mean, it's a huge hit. It's got the, religious undertones to it about a guy that wants to, have his way with a young Catholic schoolgirl. And it's funny. I was reading beforehand. He was talking about, this song got banned on the radio and everything because of the content. And he said, well, they weren't really listening because the guy never really has his way. The girl keeps saying no. And so finally he's like, all right, well, that's the end of that. But one of the, great kind of lilting, upbeat song with the horns. The horns are really cool. One of the lines that I put up where he says, the girl's name is Virginia. So he says, so come on, Virginia, show me a sign. Send me a signal, I'll throw you the line. The stained glass curtain you're hiding behind never lets in the sun. Just some great, play on words and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
This song just comes down to me for being just an overplayed song. And really, that was the original intent when I put the song. Actually, I had this song at number 8, and this is the one that I switched to number 9. It's one that, even after listening to the full album, I said that really is my number 9 because these other 8 songs are so much stronger to me. I mean, this is, again, it's poppy, it's hooky, but it's ranking at number 9 for me this time.
Got it. All right. My number 9 is Get It Right the First Time. That's where I'm going with this. I consider this a borderline filler. It's got la 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 la's in there to fill it out to show its melodic intent. I'm sorry about the off-key la la la's, but they're there.
Yeah, I'll say I want to hear that again.
No, you don't. This proves that Billy can write a pop song in his sleep. I mean, that's just his nature. He needed another song. I think he threw this on. It's got some interesting drumming here by Liberty DeVito, his regular drummer at the time, but I couldn't put it any higher just on my own personal taste. So that's going to be number 9.
Yeah, that would be my number 8. I originally had it at number 9, but you have like the flutes and kind of like the world music, almost like kind of not quite bossa nova, but very much like Muzak kind of stuff. But I mean, he did have there was some crunchy guitar in there. There was some cowbell. Like I said, the flutes are in there. It's got a little bit of funkiness to it. Probably the closest thing that Billy Joel got to writing some kind of funk song. I mean, and nothing really, stands out other than the la 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 to me. And again, this probably would rank at number 9 if Only the Good Die Young wasn't so, overplayed to me. So I'm going to agree with you. This is number 8 for me.
Very good. My number 8 is Everybody Has a Dream. This has that sort of gospel revival feel to it in a way. It's not a monumental closer. It's saved by the fact that the Stranger reprise is tacked on the end for about 2 minutes with the, the whistling and the piano and that mood setting kind of tune. I like the fact that it ties the album together at the end. That's a nice little touch. In fact, if that wasn't added on, this probably would have been my least ranked song. But the fact that it does have it, it concludes the album well, and I'm going to put it at number 8.
Well, I will continue the conversation. It's like we're one off for these. That's my number 7. I love when an album has that closing kind of reprise. I mean, we talked about it in our last episode with Hotel California. As a standalone track, it's it's what it is. Like it's hard to put it higher or lower. But when it's tacked onto a song like that to bring a theme to a close, it works really well. Kind of a different vocal from Billy too. He's kind of like that bluesy kind of like vocal again with like the gospel singers, the background singers, the soft piano playing. It works really well, like you said, as a closer. So it's my number 7.
Very good. My number 7. Now this might surprise some people, but I had to do it on based how I'm feeling right now, not how I was maybe 40 years ago ranking them. Just today's ranking. I'm going with Moving Out, Anthony's song, at number 7. A little bit of a mini shocker because it's a popular song. hit number 17 on the charts, released as a single. It's a catchy opener. I do like it, and I like the way he works into the neighborhood people and the working class people. You know, you got Anthony and you got Mr. Cacciatore and you got Mama Leone and Sergeant O'Leary. He's painting a picture with these local yokel characters and, you know, his neighborhood, so to speak. Um, you know, I like the line trading in his Chevy for a Cadillac. You ought to know by now that whole play on words too. And if that's moving up, then I'm moving out. I could live without the automobile sound effects at the end of the song. I don't think that adds a lot to it. I would have pulled that out and just went straight, you know, instrumentation and vocals, but I don't know. It's just a little quibble with me. That's why I'm putting it number 7.
Well, we both got a bigger hit toward the end of our list. So
yes.
You have Moving Out, and I had Only the Good Die Young. So
yep.
Again, it's kind of on par with each other so far. Number 6, one of his most famous ballads. I'm going to go with Just the Way You Are at number 6. Again, a song that I've listened to my whole life. The chorus, I would not leave you in times of trouble. We never could have come that far. I took the good times. I'll take the bad times. I'll take you just the way you are. With that horn, it's kind of an easy listening kind of song. I would say, like you said, you kind of mentioned the lounge lizard kind of thing. This is right up there in that alley. You can just imagine a smoky bar room, him playing this song. Great vocal with the end, like the way that his vocal goes up a little bit at the end. Again, a huge hit for him. I can understand why people would probably put it at number 1. But again, with the 5 through 1 on this record, for today, Just the Way You Are is number 6.
Definitely. My number 6 is Only the Good Die Young. You had it a little bit, you had it last, but I have it 6. So back end stuff, fun, up tempo. It's energetic. It's got that rollicking rhythm. I love the sax in it. You mentioned all the Catholic girl stuff and the different symbolism he uses. I like the stained glass curtain. There's a rosary in here and a confirmation and a cross of gold. He works all that stuff into the lyrics. Beautifully done. The girl's name's Virginia, Virgin, all that stuff. And he's trying to score, for lack of a better term. It's based on a real Catholic girl that he knew growing up. Not that he ever advanced any further, but I guess he had the hots for. And I just like the line at the end. I'd rather laugh with the sinners than die with the saints. The sinners are much more fun. It's just an attitude kind of song. But for me, it's at number 6, even though it's a big, huge, massive hit.
Yeah. Number 5, I'm going to go with the title track, The Stranger. Kind of like that, almost like a Clint Eastwoody kind of whistle at the beginning, kind of westerny at the top, and then he just breaks into like this like funky, like rollicking kind of this baritone voice of his comes in. It's just a really, really cool song, and the fact that it opens with that whistle and then closes with the whistle too is interesting. One of the lines he says, well, we all fall in love, but we disregard the danger, though we share so many secrets. There are some we never tell. So that's kind of something that everybody has. We all have those deep secrets that we'll go to the grave with. Why were you so surprised that you never saw the stranger? Did you ever let your lover see the stranger in yourself? Just again, a great rockin' tune. It's unfortunate that it doesn't have the exact radio play as Just the Way You Are, Only the Good Die Young have, or Moving Out. But I like it. I love that whistle. I remember the first time I heard it, probably 15 odd years ago for me, thinking like, oh, that's a cool song because like I've never heard it on the radio. And then, over time getting into it a little bit more. And again, we mentioned Everybody Has a Dream, that cool little reprise that comes back to kind of tag on to the title track, even though this is not a concept album by any means. But that's just kind of cool again with the callback to the stranger. So it is kind of right there in the middle for me on this one.
Very good. My number 5, my 5 and 4 are going to be pure love songs here. And I like them both. Number 5 is She's Always a Woman. Beautiful song, sweet, lovely, melodic. Another example of Billy in a minimalist, effortless way, just writing a great song with a great melody, written for his wife Elizabeth, his then wife Elizabeth. And I read where it was influenced by the style of Gordon Lightfoot, believe it or not,
Yeah.
one of your favorites, which is interesting. It's an absolutely beautiful song, and the lyrics are cool because they give you both halves of it. She can lead you to love, she can take you or leave you, she can ask for the truth, but she'll never believe you. She'll take what you give her as long as it's free. She steals like a thief, but she's always a woman to me. Just cool written lyrics that you can relate to. And then at the end, she's frequently kind. She's suddenly cruel. She can do as she pleases. She's nobody's fool. She can't be convicted. She's earned her degree. And the most she will do is throw shadows at you. But she's always a woman to me. I just like lyrically everything about it and melodically. It's just a soft uh, rock staple. Period.
Definitely.
So that's number 5.
Number 4 for me, according to Wikipedia, it is the most. It is the 4th most streamed Billy Joel song, which is the song "Vienna" on Spotify. Vienna's number 4. I remember. I know this is a big song for my sisters. My sister, well, the middle sister, she loves the song. I don't know if it was covered by somebody that she knew when she first heard it, or if it was in a movie. I don't know, but it's kind of got these metaphors of old age thrown about in the whole song. Talking about the crazy child. He talks about you can't be everything you want to be before your time. It's you're always wishing for you're wishing to be somewhere, but you've got plenty of time ahead to figure it out. But again, a great ballad. Some of his great again higher vocals on there. And then like that whole reprise, when will you realize Vienna waits for you? And again, he's kind of calling Vienna the old age. So like one day Vienna will get to you, kind of thing. But really pretty song. Probably one of his more, at least back in the day, one of his more underappreciated songs. Just how it flows. So it is number 4, Vienna.
Very good. My number 4 is Just the Way You Are. Biggest single off the album at number 3 on the charts. Just a classic love song, again, written for his wife. And believe it or not, this was on the chopping block of not even getting on the album. Billy and the band weren't thrilled with it. And then they got talked into it by, of all people, Linda Ronstadt and Phoebe Snow that I read. They heard it while they were recording it and said, you have to put this on the album. You have to put this on the album. They were right. It was a monster, and it sort of led the way for a lot of this album, the other singles to follow. So great saxophone, atmospheric, a jazzy feel to it, Lounge Lizard stuff again. And it goes back to his beginnings with songs like Piano Man and Captain Jack and The Entertainer and New York State of Mind. They're all that kind of vibe. And then here comes Just the Way You Are and She's Always a Woman. They're beauties. So that's my number 4.
Interesting. We haven't matched on anything so far. We've been close.
I know we may not.
We may not. Number 3 for me is going to be, and I mentioned this to you the other day. This is Billy kind of sounding like Elton John a little bit. This is Scenes from an Italian Restaurant for me is number 3. Great long form kind of song. It's kind of broken off into little pieces. It's almost like a suite. Where it starts off with just like this scene setter, a bottle of red, a bottle of white, and again jazzy, and then it kind of breaks into almost like this like clarinety, like New Orleans kind of style, and then it breaks into like the whole rockin' bit about the high school lovers, Brenda and Eddie, and that's like the chunk of that's the meat of the song with like the whole whoa whoa, it's right. So good. And that's a great little story. And there's a great video of it on YouTube that was made recently. It's like animated, kind of showing the whole story of Eddie being a greaser in the 50s, and it just shows the two of them being these high school lovers who get married, realize they're too young, they break up, but it's very amicable. And he kind of waves goodbye to her, and she essentially says, anytime you're nearby, you can come see me. And then it kind of breaks back into the whole, again, the full circle of, a bottle of red, a bottle of whites, whatever kind of mood you're in tonight. I'll meet you anytime you want at the Italian restaurant, in our Italian restaurant. So he brings the Brenda and Eddie story, saying, like, no matter what we're doing in life, even though we broke up, we were married, we divorced, I'll still meet you anytime at our favorite restaurant. And it's just really, really great. Again, I love a song like this. This is probably, again, you mentioned McCartney earlier. This is a very McCartney kind of thing. Where it's a medley kind of feel. It's a great tune. The instrumentation is great. I love like I said, I love the clarinet part in the second act. So Scenes from an Italian Restaurant is number 3.
Yeah, McCartney is a good analogy with the way he does Band on the Run, different stage, and even Admiral Halsey.
Uncle Albert,
yeah, where it's all contained. It's one song, but you could say it's 3 songs in one.
Yep.
And that goes back to A Day in the Life days with the Beatles, if you want to look at it that way too.
Yep.
My number 3 is Vienna. You mentioned it, about a metaphor for getting old, I guess, or worried about getting old, trying to cram everything into a small amount of time. And he addresses that in the lyrics. I love the accordion in this too. It gives it that European feel towards the middle of the song. But slow down, you crazy child. You're so ambitious for a juvenile. But if you're so smart, then tell me, why are you so afraid? And he goes, He's good with the ums and the oh-ohs and the transition thing. Where's the fire? What's the hurry about? You better cool it off before you burn it out. You got so much to do, and there's only so many hours in a day. And then, hey, you just those transition things are keeping the melody alive when the words can't say it, but the music and the little add-ons do. So this is a cool song. It's one that's risen through the years up the ranks, topping some of the more successful hits, but I had to be truthful and put it at number 3 today.
All right. Number 2, it's the big one before number 1. I'm going to go with one you had much lower. Moving Out for me is number 2.
Ooh.
I've always loved the song. I love the whole, the crazy my mind, the heart attack, the Cadillac. I love that whole bit. Like you said, great little vignettes in the verses, Sergeant O'Leary, Anthony, what's all those little characters that he brings up, Sergeant O'Leary. I love it. It's a very New York kind of song. I've never been in New York, so to me it sounds like Billy Joel. I love the big instrumentation, the boom 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 boom. I love that in the background. Like you said, every time where he talks about, you ought to know by now. Every time it's different, but who needs a house out in Hackensack? If he can't drive with a broken back, at least he can polish the fenders. Like he changes it up every single time, which keeps you on your toes. It's not predictable, but it still has the catch with the where he does like the ack, that kind of stuff. So it works really well. I've always loved this tune. It's one that I sing it probably the most out of any of the songs on the album, just because, again, you can do that. Whenever you say Cadillac, all I can think of is doing that bit. But as a song as a whole, I mean, not with that, withstanding, I think it's a really fun tune. I love the horns, like I said, the big full sound in the background. So Moving Out, Anthony's song, number 2.
Yeah, it's a great one. It's just a little bit down on it today for whatever reason, but I still love it.
Like you said, the cars in the background I can do without those two.
Yeah, it's an annoyance. They were on the album. I think they were not on the single, as I recall. They think they pulled them.
Yeah, it was about 20 seconds shorter.
Yeah, but the strong suit of that song is the characters and the giving a place and a time and the people involved. And it's a New York song. It's a lot like Springsteen as far as the characters, Mary with the dress waving and the magic rat and all the things that Bruce creates on his albums. Some of that stuff Billy Joel, I think, decided it would help strengthen his songwriting.
Yeah.
Number 2 is the title track. I'm a big fan of The Stranger. I love that piano and whistling. That it's mysterious and it's interpretive, secretive. Like you said, nobody ever really knows somebody 100%. There's always those little things you hold back, I think, in a relationship. Maybe not, but it's about opening up and full disclosure and game playing and putting on a different face for different people. You might be the same person all the time, but most people aren't. They are different with their friends than they are with their relatives and coworkers. Yep. And you know what I mean? It's that kind of song. And he says it right from the beginning. We all have a face that we hide away forever and take them out and show ourselves when everyone is gone. Some are satin, some are steel, some are silk, some are leather. They're the faces of the stranger, but we love to try them on. It's just a classic Billy Joel song.
And it matches the album cover too with the mask.
Yeah, that's right. Got to put that up.
There. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't have it, so you'll have to show it. Yeah, there you go.
The mask. He's holding it right there. Wow, it's got Billy Joel with my name under it. How cool is that, man? Woo. All right, now we're on to the big number 1.
Number 1. And it's funny because I didn't know the significance of the melody of this song until reading up on it for this episode. Number 1 for me is "She's Always a Woman." So it's very funny that Gordon Lightfoot is associated with it because I love Gordon Lightfoot. Again, I never thought of that, but like the picking of it's got a guitar on it, but also the piano, like he said, he was trying to emulate a folk picking guitar. But yeah, it's just one of those songs, talking about, he loves the person through the good, the bad. If they're weird, he doesn't care. Very simple. It's almost like his version of "Just Like a Woman," by Bob Dylan, which came out, that came out 11 years before. Because this album was 78. So it was 12 years after "Just Like a Woman" by Bob Dylan on "Blonde on Blonde," but it's kind of a similar kind of thing. Just very, very sweet melody. But then you have the line that I highlighted was, "She'll promise you more than the Garden of Eden, then she'll carelessly cut you while you laugh while you're bleeding. And laugh while you're bleeding, but she'll bring out the best and the worst you can be. Blame it all on yourself because she's always a woman to me." It's a great song. And actually, after listening to it for this particular episode, I'm like, that's one that I need to listen to a little bit more, intently, and actually try to maybe learn this myself on guitar, just to try to figure out, what it can be with the guitar, with the Gordon Lightfoot sound that was in his head. But again, anybody that knows me knows this is mostly around my alley in terms of what I like. I love a good, deep, kind of a gut-wrenching ballad, because I'm a songwriter guy. So "She's Always a Woman" to me, that was the first one that I wrote as number 1. "Moving Out" was close because I really do like that song, but "She's Always a Woman," I was like, yeah, lyrically, it could be that one, in "New York State of Mind" could be my favorite Billy Joel songs.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't surprise me. I would have predicted that for you at number 1. That's a Sam song, no question about it. My number 1 is "Scenes from an Italian Restaurant." Brenda and Eddie and the bottle of red, bottle of white, all that good stuff. It's just a sweeping 7.5-minute pop masterpiece. You mentioned the McCartney-esque style to it, and you're right. Nostalgic, romantic lyrics, detailed. Billy showing off his piano prowess a little bit on this guitar, and it rocks a bit. Brenda and Eddie were the popular steadies, and the king and the queen at the prom, riding around with the car top down and the radio on. Nobody looked any finer. It was more of a hit at the Parkway Diner. We never knew we could get more than that out of life, excuse me. And then he goes, "Surely Brenda and Eddie would always know how to survive." Whoa, Just a classic Billy Joel riff and tune. And I love it. It probably always wasn't number 1, but it's grown to that. I think it's a staple of not only his concerts, but his catalog. I think it's one of his best tunes, and got to put it up. So that's where we're at. That was a lot of fun. We did not match on any, but on an album this good, you can go anywhere and still not embarrass yourself. It's pretty solid all the way
like
through.
I said, I'll flip-flop 2 or 3 of these.
Yeah.
So
So, all right, now we get down to the album overall ranking. This is tough because I didn't even think about it. I'm going to think about it while you're talking about it.
Well, I get to think about it too. So I do always like to grade it on the spot because it, going through it and hearing what you have to say about it could affect it even by half a point. Because I would say again because it is only 9 technical tracks, and then like I said, the song "Only the Good Die Young," get it right the first time, and really everybody has a dream. So that's 3 out of the 9, and so technically that would be like a 66%. But I would say as a whole, because I love how the Stranger reprise comes back, I'm going to give it a 7.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe if I was feeling crotchetier, maybe a 6.5, but I'm going to give it a 7 because the strong stuff is really strong. Really, from the Stranger, Vienna, the Scenes from Italian Restaurant, Moving Out, and She's Always a Woman are just all, they're killer stuff. Just the Way You Are is kind of on the fence, but I'll still take it. So I'm going to give it a 7 this time.
And I thought I was a difficult grader. No, I'm going to give it a solid, I got to do it, a 9.0.
Wow.
I really like it. I was vacillating between an 8.5 and a 9, but I have to go with 9. It's held up for almost 50 years. And it's his best album. So I'm going to go with a 9. So very good. A little discrepancy. We both like the album. I think you're a little bit down on some of the 2 of the overplayed songs, which I do get.
Yeah, it doesn't help. Like I said, my early introductions to music were classic rock radio, and I know, like with you and like our friend Glenn, like y'all don't listen to classic rock radio, but like when I was 13, 14, I couldn't help it because that's all I had.
Yeah.
And so hearing those songs, like hearing the Hotel Californias, the Stairway to Heavens over and over and over again.
Yeah.
After that was my only form of music really for about 3 years. And so over time, I was done with a lot of that stuff, and it's no fault of my own, but that's what I was listening to. So
yeah, when I grew up, I mean, this was happening on the fly. The album comes out, you buy the album, and the single comes out, and you're going, "Wow, this is packed. What's going to be the next single?" And then it comes out, and then there's another one. There's like 5 singles that come out in the span of a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were released in '78 because he had so much momentum. And he was on the charts, and I mean that's the way they did it back then. And I didn't have to go back and listen and hear these songs in my brain all the time. If I didn't want to hear them, I wouldn't listen to classic rock radio. That's all. It's just
yeah. It's only gotten worse, but anyway,
I'm sure it has. Anyway, this was a fun one. Always appreciate you getting together, Sam, and doing this with me. It's a fun series.
Yep.
And go over and subscribe to Sam. Give this video a like, thumbs up, leave some comments. Give us your top 9 in order. I like to compare lists. We both do to what the public thinks, or some of our personal friends will sometimes comment and say, "You guys are off your rocker," or whatever. Whatever.
Talking to you, Doc.
Yeah, Doc will come out as strong, and some of the other guys, Randy and Brian. So we appreciate everybody watching. We'll see you next time. We're not sure what album we're going to do next, but we have a couple in mind, so I'm sure. Stay tuned, and we'll let you know. Thanks for watching, and we will see you down the road. Bye.